Hey ladies and gents, welcome to the Q&A by eFootball, the official Twitter handle for the new upcoming game, eFootball, which is obviously replacing PES, as you're probably well aware. So basically I'm just going to react to the thread below that they've put all these Q&A comments in here to address some of the obviously concerns that have been raised by many community members. So the first is eFootball just a mobile game for consoles? Now, I did joke about this, but I did actually see some literature within their website that suggested it's going to be scaled based on the platform you're on. And that's exactly what they say here. They say eFootball is developed first for consoles, but is a platform for everyone to enjoy. The game will take full advantage of the hardware capabilities of each supported device. So obviously, you know, the console version is going to look, the mobile version is going to look drastically different to perhaps the PS5, but I don't think we're going to get next gen just yet. But I'm going to touch on more of that later at the end of this video because I've got something important to say. Will next-gen graphics be downgraded to play against mobile users? So, similar to what we're talking about here, we will make graphical adjustments to the mobile version, but the next generation graphics on consoles and PC will not be downgraded. And that's absolutely fine because obviously we can have, it's much like, imagine playing on PC. You can have a game where you play it on maximum graphics, or you can put it on potato graphics, and there's a big scale of changes going on actually live on screen, and you can literally play against another user who's on amazing graphics. Let's take Sea of Thieves for example. I know you guys probably don't play that game, but I can have it on max settings, and then I'm playing against another player who's playing on potato graphics, and there's no real downgrade or significant difference in terms of how it plays. It just looks worse than what I'm playing on. Can you turn off or filter cross-platform matchmaking? Will include multiple filters for matchmaking based on location and platform. So this is really good. This is basically saying, they are going to include multiple filters for matchmaking based on location, which is good because the last thing you want to do, or last thing I want to do, is play someone from America or from Australia, being living in England, because the connection is probably going to be pretty bad, especially Australia, and also the platform as well. So if you are concerned about playing PC players, because there's generally a lot of hacking going on with the PC platform, obviously this could make it more difficult for PC players to get a game. Hopefully not, but they could be excluded. And same for the mobile gamers. The mobile gamers might find it hard to find those playing on PlayStation, because those playing on PlayStation don't want to play against a mobile gamer who's sat in their room with really poor Wi-Fi signal. So that's understandable. Is early autumn launch basically a demo? So early autumn is late September, early October. So we can expect a demo then. And they say, in many ways, yes, we want people to get hands-on with eFootball as soon as possible. So we'll launch with a limited number of teams and modes. And they said exact details to follow. So, we are going to get a demo around, like I said, late September, early October. And we'll have to wait and see. That's going to be the day when we truly discover if eFootball is going to be worth playing or not. I still have a reservation out. Until I get my hands on that controller. I know we can look back to the new football game, which was pretty bad. Not gonna lie, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? It was a pretty bad experience. I think that's why a lot of people were sort of downbeat. A lot of people going, "Oh no, this is just a mobile game. It's not PES, or it's not the new eFootball game that's coming out." And then people were like, "Actually, this was the game." But they can make a lot of changes to the gameplay, which they did say in a direct message to myself from Konami. They did say that the gameplay is going to be worked on. Just inform the users that this is purely a network test, which went pretty well, in my opinion, the network side of things. What exactly will be free to play at launch? So during early autumn, eFootball will have no microtransactions. Well, obviously, if it's just a demo and a few modes. So everything will be free to play at launch. We will then add more content during autumn. Exact content details to follow. So it sounds like, they're saying early autumn, and now they're saying autumn. So we are looking at probably an October release before we start to get bigger chunks of the game. And that's something I want to cover off in a little bit later, maybe. So may return to these. Can I play against the CPU and AI from early autumn? Yep, a local match will be included in this, so that's good. We can see what the CPU and AI are like. Hopefully, pretty good. It's going to be interesting, especially with the one-on-one aspect. There's a heavy focus on one-on-one. I really like the manual defending of new football game. I thought it was good that, you can beat people with a variety of number of skills. And the defending felt really, really manual. It didn't feel like you could just hold a button and just let your player go and tackle them. You literally had to try and work out which way they were going to go, which is really, really good. Made it a lot more skillful, in my opinion. So that was one of the plus sides of the new football game. Will there be support for an edit mode or option files? So we are planning to add an edit mode and option files as a free update for the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4 and PC after initial release. Exact details to follow, which is very, very good. Obviously, the Master League is probably coming. Well, they haven't said, but there's a rumor it's coming January, February. Hopefully, it's not going to be that late. But if it is, I mean, these option files are coming. They're going to be on their way, which is really, really good, because without the edit mode and option files, this game would be dead on arrival. So it's great to see that they are including that. When will Master League be added to eFootball? So Master League will be available as premium download content in the future. Please wait for further announcements. Now, there's a lot of people kicking off about actually paying for Master League. I'm like, well, hold on. We've been paying for PES since it was born. Why have people suddenly got something against it for having to pay for this aspect of it too? People go, oh yeah, but my club's free. You think it's going to be free? I mean, yeah, it will be to some extent, but I bet you to compete, I bet you the players are much harder to get, and I bet that they'll sort of force you to want to buy these match passes, and that basically that's going to give you the players that you really, really want. So I gotta, you are with my club, you are going to be expected to pay. But like you say, you don't have to. But I think, I think the players are going to be much harder to get. Hence, it's gone free to play, so they can say, look, even if we can tempt 10 quid out of each user, those that play PES Lite who download the game for free, I bet you, some people just put a tenner here, tenner there, and it soon all adds up. So, and obviously with no physical disc, it's just going to be a download game, I assume. With no physical disc, imagine the amount of savings they're going to make through not having to distribute the game. So, to be able to put it on the shelf in your local shop, that's going to save them a lot of money with it just being, a free to download application. Really, really good. Really, really good strategic move from a business point of view. Maybe not for us consumers, but from a business point of view, it makes a lot of sense. Can you sign players without special agents? Previous games had a strong lottery element, but eFootball lets you nominate and acquire your favourite players with Match Pass, a system to receive items based on matches played. Free and paid match passes will be available. So like I was saying, I think they will try and force you to pay for those paid match passes. However much that is, we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that'll be interesting to see how that mechanic actually works. So, this was very, very interesting. Now they actually, Adam Batty actually put out a link here, saying some nice new information here about next gen features on the loadout.com. Definitely recommend going checking this article out. It was worthwhile to actually sort of read this, so I'd recommend going. But I'm just going to skip to certain parts that sort of stood out for me. They are going to continue with the support of the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers on the DualSense controller on the PS5, which is really, really good. Hopefully, I mean, when you did the finesse shot, you had to sort of hold down the trigger like halfway if you didn't change controls. See, I changed controls. I didn't use the right trigger for my finesse shot. I used right bumper. I changed those around. So it'd be interesting to see how that works. And for those that do change their controller configuration, how is that going to be impacted? Would be another of my questions. He says that it will take full advantage of the hardware capabilities. So we've already sort of touched on that. So if we scroll down a little bit, he says, while the core game engine is the same for console and mobile, we're working to ensure the best gameplay experience on each platform. Next-gen consoles and high-performing PCs allow us to devote more resources to gameplay, so we've included a variety of elements that are not possible on mobile, such as 3D pitches, spectators' realistic movement. Obviously, I sort of took the mick out of that in my review, where all the crowd synchronized jump. I'm sure that's going to be the mobile version, and then we'll see realistic movement from the crowd on the next gen consoles. Cross processing of moving kits, rich lighting, and motion blur. This is something that cannot be achieved on a mobile device. So again, they're sort of emphasizing, saying, look, what you played in the eFootball game, forget that. I think that was the mobile version. I think they literally just imported the mobile. I think they got a solid base for the mobile game, and I think they're going to say, look, this is the game, but this is the mobile version of that new football game. It didn't do them any favors because it brought a lot of negativity. But I think when the actual game comes out, they'll claw it back with no, I'm not going to say the graphics are going to be next gen because they're working on the Unreal 4 engine. And again, like I said, I want to touch on this more in a bit because I'm going to explain possibly some of the ways they're working, because I work in not a developer environment, but I work closely with developers, so I can explain probably how they're working a little bit better. The sound, which is important for creating a stadium atmosphere, has been reconstructed from scratch, and the cheers and sighs of the crowd will add to the excitement of this game too. Now, during my review, this was one of the things that really stood out to me, that oohs and ahs were just all over the place, completely horrendous. So really looking forward to seeing the stadium atmosphere, because that's very, very important in a football game. I can't remember a single version of PES where the crowd was like you actually felt you were there. It never feels that way. It just feels like you could have gone to a cricket ground. It was pretty bad. So one of the things that really stood out to me was this. He stresses that some of the features will not be included at the time of release and will be implemented in a future date. Now, this is where I want to talk about the way they develop. Obviously, eFootball isn't eFootball 2021, eFootball 2022. It's eFootball. So this allows them, especially with it being cross-play, so it's just going to be, the updates for them are going to be very, very easy to sort of roll out across all devices, be on one sort of platform. But the thing that's interesting to me is a lot of developers choose what's called an agile approach. So before they go, okay, we're going to fix these bugs or upgrade this or upgrade that. And they go, look, we're going to upgrade this, and this. They got like 20 upgrades. And they'd work on all 20 upgrades. And when it's finished, they'd pack it all up and say, okay, we're going to release that in 9 months' time. So one giant chunky build, 9 months' time. Bosh, there you go. But that means the consumer's got to wait 9 months to get access to that. What I think we'll see with eFootball, and it's an important point that sort of got me thinking when I was speaking to Barry on the podcast the other week, because he sort of mentioned it. You know, he's mentioned about eFootball just being eFootball, and that's it. And they're gonna roll out, possibly roll out regular updates. Not saying this is for true, you know, not saying this is exactly word for word or true, but this is how I'm speculating in my head. They work to an agile approach. So the agile approach is they'll work on one of those 20 things and get it released in a month, say. Maybe less, maybe like a couple of weeks. And then they'll do the next, they'll work on the next thing and the next thing. And obviously if there's lots of little things, they pick them up and bunch them together and go, okay, we can get those out within, say, 2 months. So instead of having all your upgrades 9 months down the line, you get them drip fed. But they're more, they're far more regular throughout the year. So we'll get these constant upgrades. And one of the things I think, they talk about photorealism and all the rest of it. Obviously, this is on the Unreal 4 engine. So for me, that's not going to be a next-gen experience. Don't get me wrong, the Unreal 4 engine can look really, really good. I've played a lot of good games, a lot of very good-looking games on the Unreal 4 engine, but the Unreal 5 engine is next-gen. That's truly going to blow us away. Now, whether it's down to COVID, whether it's down to the delayed release of the Unreal 5 engine, I don't know. But basically, when the Unreal 5 engine comes along and is released, and they port it from the Unreal 4 to the Unreal 5, and we're going to get the machine learning and all the rest of it, that's going to be the next step. And we won't have to probably wait a year for that. I don't know when the release of the Unreal 5 engine is. I need to go and look and check that out. But when that gets dropped, I think we could be in for a very, very good surprise. I'm trying to be as positive as I can here. One of the things that really bugged me is the camera, the match camera. He talks about it here. So we also worked on the match camera, a new camera called Duel, which is what we saw in eFootball game. And he says, as the name suggests, was developed to allow players to enjoy the 1v1 battles that are the focus of this title. In situations where you're building up from the defensive line, you can see a wide area from a perspective similar to that of a conventional camera. It seamlessly switches to a closer view as the winger on the side has the ball or approaches the opponent's penalty area. You can enjoy the delicate touch of the ball, feinting to deceive your opponent, defending with your body, or blocking a shot at the last second. I'm just hoping they have worked on it from the new football game, because that new football game, open beta, that camera was terrible. You could be at the top side of the pitch and it zooms out. You suddenly pass the ball to the middle of the pitch and it zooms right in, so you can't see anyone or anything. Like, I was literally on the center circle. And I was like, who can I pass to? I had to look at the radar. I mean, if you turn the radar off, you're doomed. So yeah, hopefully they've worked on it, because I did not like that camera one bit. But hopefully there is going to be other cameras that you can choose. And that's pretty much it in terms of the key points from this for me. So yeah, I just wanted to share my sort of feedback with you guys on the sort of Q&A. Just if I'm going to go back here and make sure I've not missed anything that I wanted to go back over. But yeah, am I optimistic with this game? I'm I'm hopeful. Look, I'm rooting for them to make a good game because they've always, for the most part, they've always delivered. And if they get the gameplay right, I don't care too much because they've alleviated many of the fears that I initially had. When I saw cross-play, I just thought, dumbed down controls. If we haven't got dumbed down controls, some of the things I didn't dislike. I didn't dislike the fact they got rid of the secondary press. I just feel like it's a more realistic game. I mean, which team presses one player with 2 or 3 players? You don't ever see that. They press as a team and they spread. So if you get one player pressing the player with the ball, you generally get another player pressing players in and around them to stop them passing to the next player. So that's how a proper press works. You wouldn't have 2 players charging down the same player, because one pass and you've just cut out 2 players. That just doesn't make any sense. And I think taking out the secondary press just removes the chaos that you get in some games. It just gets so messy. And I think it's going to be, for them to get that to work properly, the AI is going to have to be on point. Like the team formation, everything like that has to be on point. Players, you can't afford players to just be sleeping as the ball's being moved around the pitch. They have to be active. They have to be really, really smart. But I don't think we're going to get that until we get the machine learning, the Unreal 5 engine working cohesively. Anyway, that is all from me, ladies and gents. Thanks for listening to me. Hopefully you didn't mind that sort of run through. Anyway, that's all from me. Take care, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.